According to the Department of Justice, 1 in 6 women in America have been the victims of completed or attempted rape. 1 in 33 men, millions of men, have suffered the same thing. Hi, my name is Jody Pushkin, and I'm going to be talking to you today on victim blaming and why it is so important for us to change the view of victims of domestic and sexual violence. Here are just some of the statistics. 3% of women each year report that they are the victims of domestic violence. Now, this might not seem like a great number, but 3% every single year adds up to be millions of women who are victims of domestic violence. This is a big problem today in our country. I want you to look at all the people that sit next to you. I want you to think of the people that you love and realize that they are a part of this statistic. This isn't just some number that doesn't exist. It is the people that you care about. Now, I will also be discussing why this is so important, not just because it is morally wrong, but because people really don't react the way they should. Now, when you hear about heinous crimes, we respond one of 2 ways most times. Either one, we turn it into humor, such as this advertisement here that states, "It's not rape, it's cuddling with a struggle." Some might find this funny. It's very offensive, and it makes a joke out of rape. Now, other times, people try to make sense of the world and give it justifications. This is what's called according to the deviant behavior, what is called just world hypothesis. Now, in just world hypothesis, they believe that people who commit crimes or people who want to have things happen or people who deserve to have these things happen are the only times that these horrible crimes take place, which is not true. It could happen to anybody at any time. Examples of victim blaming go from when a cop takes report of an incident. He goes, "Were you drinking tonight?" "Well, what were you wearing?" "Did you go have drinks with him?" "Why would you have drinks with him if you weren't interested?" Or whenever a man has reported it, and a man can't be raped by a woman. You gotta be kidding me. Why wouldn't he just fight her off? Now, there's something horribly wrong with this statement. One, why should the woman be blamed for her perfectly legal actions when it's the perpetrator who committed the crime against her? Another, it's not just physical force that applies rape. Rape is something that you could literally be blackmailed into, you could be threatened into, you could have a gun against your head, and then maybe you wouldn't struggle, or you could say, "Hey, if you don't do this, I'm going to tell your wife you did it anyway," and then you're not going to have a family anymore. Another victim would be bullying. When your principal goes to get onto your child because they're the victim of bullying and harassing at school, and they turn around to the child and ask, "What did you do to provoke this?" Clearly, your child is just after attention. It's just harmless pranks. Whenever statistically proven that these harmless pranks cause children to have more anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, and are achieving less academically than their peers. Now, who is a victim? Now, a victim can be anybody, of course. Nothing is exactly black and white. There's always those gray areas, but for the most part, victims of domestic violence and victims of sexual violence are chosen by the perpetrator. They choose people who they think won't tell on them. They choose people who they feel they can take advantage of, such as people who are under the influence of alcohol. Somebody who is weakened state that would allow them to take advantage of them. And when they're not sure, perpetrators are very intelligent because what they do is they test the waters. They try to see how far they can get with somebody. First, they may ask a woman, can I come inside for a glass of water? I just need to make a quick phone call. The more she allows, less perpetrator know what he's available to do. Now, one thing I'd also want to point out is the importance. You may hear this and you may still wonder why it's important for us to change our views on victim blaming. Now, victim blaming is not only somebody's opinion. These people are our police officers. These people are our judges. These people are the people who convict the wrongdoers. So if you have a cop with the mindset that it's this woman's fault, how is he going to write the report? He's going to write it as if she was asking for it. Or if you have a lawyer in the court, they put the woman on trial. She is guilty before she is innocent, compared to the perpetrator who is innocent before proven guilty. They assume that the person reporting rape is lying until they prove otherwise. And this is why victim blaming, when they give the indication that maybe it's her fault because she was promiscuous, maybe it was her fault because she had alcohol, then it changes the jury's mind onto who's guilty. And in domestic disputes, it automatically changes somebody's mind according to sexual roles. Article written by it is more likely for a woman to be accused of provoking her attacker in a domestic dispute violence if she is a woman with a career, a non-traditional career. Why a meek housewife is less likely to be perceived as being bad. Why is it that we are blaming people who have, in the exact case by case, somebody who has a career over somebody who does not? Because it goes out of the norm. All right, well, thank you so much for listening to my speech. Now, the next thing I want to ask is if anybody has any questions at all. Feel free to express your ideas. And I'm open to any ideas. Any questions, any comments. Just, you have a...
Yeah.
What do you want to say? Come on, say it. We have somebody with a comment. If you may.
I agree we have to change the way we view victims. We have read in school that people who are viewed, violent, and abused are less likely to receive support from loved ones. They are said to be treated like damaged property. And I also um, find it scary that police and other people have the idea that it is okay to hurt someone because what they wear.
I agree. That is scary. Well, I want to thank you guys again for coming out and listening to me. I hope that this helps people change their perspective on the way that they view victims of these crimes, and hopefully one day we can um, encourage positive support for those who have been through it. And once again, my name is Jody Pushkin, and I hope that you all have a great day. Thank you.